we need to talk about something, bro. We got to talk about something, which is the LTA format, because I'm pretty sure the only reason this isn't getting more discussion is because no one knows what's actually going on in the LTA format. So the LTA format is probably the worst format I've ever seen in Split 3. And to me, the main thing that I've been kind of wrestling with is you kind of have to try to make a format this bad. It's very hard to make a format as bad as the LTA North format, with this like pick and play stage into this elimination stage. Technically the elimination stage, even though this is literally a playoff bracket, and if you lose, you're out. Even though that's the case, there's still going to be multiple patch changes during it. There's going to be the big new season, like whatever the fucking new season means. That's going to happen in the middle of the LTA playoffs. But more importantly, the pick and play phase just doesn't seem really like fair in a way. Just the way that things are done, you just have teams that are in different situations or different parts of the bracket with massively different levels of opponents. And then when you go into like this schedule here, I mean, the schedule here is just awful. So what do you need to know about the pick and play phase? So the way that it works is that after week one were just matchups based off, ranking. So Lion was the second worst team. We got second last split. So we played Lion. FlyQuest played against DSG because they were the worst team. And yeah, it just went like that, right? Like you just played the team that was opposite of you, which is whatever. That was the first game. After that, the teams with the lower records could only pick teams that have better records than them to play. So the team that was last place gets their choice. So it was Disguised, right? Disguised got their choice of who they wanted to play. Or actually, was it Disguised that got their choice? Yeah, I think it was Disguised who got their choice. They chose Shopify, and it just went like that. So it's a pick and play phase. Now, the thing that's so weird about the pick and play phase is the fact that you can play teams that have the same match record as you, but have a different game record. So in this situation, Disguised, because they were able to win that one game against Shopify, then get a much harder next round opponent, theoretically could get a much harder next round opponent if they ended up having to pick. Now, because Dignitas actually went 0-4, they're actually a team that ended up not winning any games. They could actually pick Disguised. So they actually picked Disguised, and Disguised ended up getting the easiest matchup. And you pick like that. But what ends up happening is you have teams that are like 2-0. Look at the games that Shopify has played. They play against Dignitas, DSG, and their next opponent is 100 Thieves, which are currently the three worst teams in the league, right? The three winless teams. That's who Shopify gets to play in order to potentially go 3-0. Now, if you look at Lion, this is Lion who won. This is their opponents. They got us week 1, C9 week 1, TL week 2, Fly week 3. So most likely they're going to end up being 1 and 2 here, and they're going to be starting in the lower bracket, whereas Shopify, who ended up playing the easiest teams, is going to be in the upper bracket. Now, I hate formats where things don't matter, and if you go and you look at like how this format works, generally the way they've been deciding who gets first and who gets second is based off last season standing. So even if we go 6-0, right, 6-0 in games, 3-0 in series, and FlyQuest goes 3-0 in series and 6-0 in games, FlyQuest gets to choose their opponent. So even if we lose to Team Liquid or win versus Team Liquid, it probably makes no difference for Cloud9 because Cloud9 is guaranteed to be in the upper bracket, which is why it's blue right here. That means you've already qualified for the upper bracket. And the way it works is the first seed will be able to pick their opponent, and FlyQuest most likely would never pick us because the only team that has actually had like a semi-competitive record with them this year has been Cloud9. I think like over the course of the entire year, I don't know exactly what we were. I think over the course of the entire year, 9-7. So they've been 9 wins, 7 losses against us, but against everyone else, they're just like stomping them. And it's kind of been the same for us. The only team that has beat us, the team that we have a losing record to, is FlyQuest, and then all the other teams we've had a winning record to, except for 100 Thieves, where we played in 2 best of ones. We lost both best of ones to 100 Thieves. You have a match here that technically doesn't matter, really, right? This doesn't really matter because since we won our first 2 matches 2-0, we're already guaranteed to be in the upper group. So you have a match that doesn't matter. Now, I think this is actually going to get changed. So this is just what it's showing right now. But look at what the break would be and how this would go. Now, I think that they're actually going to change this. But if it stayed like this, you have round 1, which is loser's bracket, right? So this is round one, which means that the teams that are in the upper bracket would get a week off. So you have 1 week that doesn't matter into a week off. Then you have your round 2 matches, right? And if you win that, like it'll probably end up being FlyQuest versus Shopify, TL versus C9, or maybe FlyQuest versus TL and Shopify versus C9. These would be the matches. If Fly and C9 win this, then if this ends up staying the same, it would end up being that you wouldn't play until round 4, which would be on the 5th, right? So that would be another 1 week break. So you'd get a week that doesn't matter, 1 week break, then you have 1 week that really matters, then another week break, and then you have potentially 3 best of 5s in a row. Round 4, upper, lower, and finals. You could play all 3 of these in a row from Friday to Sunday. So like, let's say you play on a Sunday, round 3, actually you wouldn't play on a Sunday. Let's say you play on let's say like one of these teams played, one of these teams could play on a Sunday, right? The team that plays on the Sunday could end up just playing like 2 more days in a row. You know, like it could just end up being like, okay, Sunday, and then you have like a Saturday, Sunday match. Or you could go from the upper bracket and it's like, and this is going to be on a new patch, by the way. This is going to be on 25-17, I believe. So you're going to be playing on a new patch for finals weekend, and you could play 3 best of 5s in a row starting on a Friday. Like, this is the format. To me, it's just like, it's so crazy. And yeah, I just wanted to like share with you guys what the format really is, because it's so insanely convoluted that the only reason why I think that people don't hate the format more is they don't really understand the format, even, because you need like a PhD to actually go through this shit and figure out what the is happening. Hold on, let me see if this is on L Esports, LTA North. Yeah. So the match for C9 is actually on Sunday, by the way. We play on Sunday. So this is wrong. It's not Saturday. So it's not C9 TL and Fly Line. It's C9 plays on Sunday. So we will already know on Sunday, by the time we play our match, whether our match matters or doesn't matter at all, right? If FlyQuest wins 2-0 versus Lion, they get to choose their opponent no matter what in the upper bracket. Yeah, they get to just choose whoever they want to play out of the top 4 teams. And since it's impossible for us to not get top 4, even if we win 2-0 and we like dominate them, nothing changes. We could just go 6-0 and then not have pick of our opponent. You know, I assume that FlyQuest will just take Shopify. I mean, Shopify looks by far like the weakest team in the top 4. And then we'll play TL again. So we could be playing TL on a Sunday and then being like, all right, our next match versus TL is the playoff match, which is, you know, one that really matters. Because if you lose two of these series, you're out for a season, right? So it's just awkward, you know? You play a best of 3 and there's really no benefit of winning or like showing stuff. So it's very strange, bro. It's a very strange format. I mean, I don't even know how you end up with a format that's this convoluted. Because to me, if you just did a normal format, like let's say you just did the normal regular season, like you just had everyone play each other in best of 3s, and then, you know, after that you just had some best of 5s to determine who actually moves on. If you did that format, that would be the easiest way to just make a format, right? That would be the most logical way, and that's what people have done for years. So you have to really, really try to make a format this bad. It's not one of those things where, oh yeah, you know, we stumbled over and we ended up making a format this bad. It's like you have to calculate what could be the worst possible thing for a format to be and then go from there. It's crazy. So, yeah. All right, time for a gigabanger.